welcome to Movie Schmovie, episode 18. This is a great episode, because I always say that.
Hasn't even started, and it's so great.
Hasn't even started. This is Steve and I presenting a review of the movie Marcy May Marlene.
You got it.
Yes, Sean Durkin's Martha.
You just messed it up.
Marcy May Marlene. I did. I said it all backwards.
Man, this movie, everybody when we said that we were going to see this movie, everybody's like, what? You know the one. Everybody knows this movie by the one. It's like, oh, it's got the young Olsen twin.
Right.
And she's not even a twin, but she's like the third daughter or something.
She is.
They probably have even more kids than that. I don't know.
Probably.
She's the younger girl. She's like 22 or 23. I
didn't know she existed until like a couple months ago.
Yeah. Thank God she does.
Right, because she's amazing.
She's good. She's easy on the eyes. She's better looking than the twin, that's for sure.
She is.
She actually has some meat on her.
She does. We got to get into that, too, later on in the...
Yeah, we're going to hold off on that for a hot second. We're going to get into the Mighty Minute review real quick. We saw a film a few weeks ago that we didn't get to do a feature review on, and that was the new film starring Justin Timberlake and Amanda Seyfried.
I hear it pronounced a million ways.
Seyfried?
Seyfried? I think it's Seyfried.
The girl from Mamma Mia. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
It's the Andrew Niccol film, which is called In Time. Came out a few weeks ago. We both went and saw it.
Yep.
I liked the film. I didn't really like it a lot or even love it. I had a lot of expectations for it. I thought the premise was really cool, which is basically a future where time becomes your currency, and you're basically working for minutes to add to your clock. At the age of 25, everyone basically starts to use up their quote-unquote time/money, and you die when it runs out. So instead of working for I guess at the basic level, you're not just working for the luxuries in life like a house and all your food and everything. You're actually working for more like seconds and more minutes to have in life.
And what makes it so bad about the situation is that the poor people, they're pretty much just given a year to deal with after their 25th.
Right.
So they have to work to earn time.
Yeah, and literally when you're buying stuff, you're buying food, you're buying a bus ride, you literally are paying for it with that year that you're giving.
Yeah.
Or given, either in seconds or minutes. Which again, I thought the idea of it was really cool. I feel like it never really got past a really cool premise for me. I like Justin Timberlake a lot. I think he's really charismatic, has a lot of personality, and on screen he just jumps, Yeah. We both really like them in Friends with Benefits. But I don't know, I just feel like the movie could have went a lot further, especially with being a fan of some of Andrew Niccol's other work, specifically the film Gattaca, which he wrote and directed. He also wrote The Truman Show.
Truman Show was incredible.
Right. So, he definitely has a nice take on some futuristic kind of sci-fi ideas. And for me, this film never really got off the ground. A lot of the stuff, I feel like it got really comfortable in just the fact that it had a cool premise and didn't push it at all. A lot of the action was kind of mild at best for me. There wasn't any really big set pieces that really wowed me. But I don't know. I know you liked it a little more though.
I liked it a lot, but it was still not as in depth when it came. The premise, it really stopped at the premise, like you said. But what the problem is, it had a better premise than say The Matrix. Just in terms of just
what you could have done.
What you could have. Yeah, it was incredible, and I think that it could have been amazing, but it really was a very kind of pond deep sort of story, but the premise was so cool, and there were some deep parts about it, like just poverty and
there's
the
some
lower class versus the upper class.
Yeah, there's some really cool social themes that go on throughout the film, and that's kind of feel like where they drop the ball. You're alluding to this stuff and you're seeing it, we see it in certain dialogue exchange or scenes throughout the film. But it doesn't go past that surface. It almost just becomes almost like a Robin Hood type vibe, where they're stealing from the rich and giving to the poor,
which is cool.
Yeah, it's cool. But
it's a revolutionary sort of thing, and I get that that had to happen because of the imbalance that existed. But it just shows that there's imbalance in the current time, and I think that it has some really cool, valuable. It became a little preachy at times,
right?
And it didn't have to be so blatant about the message that was kind of coming across.
Sure.
It kind of could have been expressed through just the events happening rather than just dialogue. That gets a little annoying when it's this is how the poor should be treated. Yeah. This is how the rich should be treated. That's really weird to me. So I really like to see things played out through good story rather than it being dialogue.
A lot of opportunity. I just didn't think it delivered. You know, it's in theaters now. If you want to check it out, it's called In Time with Justin Timberlake.
Still cool, man. Still a cool movie.
You'd recommend it?
Yeah, I'd recommend it.
Okay, I'd say go see it if you've maybe seen everything else.
It's definitely a DVD movie. Like, more than any. I feel like DVD-wise, this thing has potential. Like, I would buy it. I would watch it again.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Right on.
So...
All right, well, moving from that would be our Mighty Minute review. We're going to actually get into this week's feature review, like Ronald said, is Marcy May Marlene, starring Elizabeth Olsen, John Hawkes. Film basically is in a rollout right now. It's like a Fox Searchlight independent film. They kind of do like the limited release rollout schedule. It's definitely a film that I think they have some, you know, I guess eggs in the basket about Oscar contention, hopefully, for them. So I know in Baltimore, where we record, it comes out this week at a theater locally. Yeah. It may be in a theater near you now, so you want to check out the Fox Searchlight site to see if it's available. And before we get into the review, we're going to let you check out a clip of Marcy May Marlene.
Is this Martha? You look like a Marcy May.
Marcy was my grandmother's name.
This is Martha.
Marcy May.
Marlene.
If you feel safe here, let us in.
Martha!
Marcy May.
No. This is Martha.
Marlene. Martha!
You're a teacher.
Marcy!
And a leader.
Marcy May!
Now prove it.
What happened?
Marcy May.
Who is this?
Marlene.
Let us in.
We have to leave.
Marcy May!
We all have to
Where
leave.
you going?
You look like a Marcy May.
Martha, Marcy May, Marlene. Rated R. In select theaters October.
So yeah, this is the movie.
Man, you were the best at that filler. Every time we come in from it, or like we switch over, you're like, so yeah, it was good. I liked it.
Marcy May Marlene. This is my bread and butter.
What?
What you don't know?
What does that mean?
Is that I am an indie film aficionado. I love indie films over popcorn.
Are you a
films.
hipster?
I might be, man.
Shit.
I prefer things that are off the beaten path, and I love that this movie was very different than anything we've reviewed. For one,
yeah, it is definitely probably one of the first like indie art house films we've done a feature review on.
So to make this movie as simple as humanly possible, Martha is a girl that escapes from a cult-like family situation.
Yep.
And she's been missing for 2 years. And she comes back to her sister's sort of house. Hasn't talked to her at all in 2 years. They don't have a mother or father. Her mother died fairly recently. And they kind of touch on that a little bit. But it's basically about dealing with the kind of paranoia and the painful stuff that follows her returning from this cult situation.
Yeah, it's like up in the Catskills up in New York, upstate New York. So it's very secluded, very country, very like, I don't know. What were you calling it? You like...
Yeah, it's a filthy looking movie. Like they're basically on a farm and
minimal everything.
This
cult's goal, like you hear, it's like they're trying to be like self-sustaining, where they don't have to rely on any kind of money, going to town for anything, and it's basically this group of men, I don't know, like 6 of them, group of women, about 6 or 7 of them, you know, and basically they just cycle them in and out. And through the film, we see different girls come in, and their goal, you know, they're basically trying to impregnate these girls, and they only want to have boys, and you know, to keep this group going. You know, because the men aren't replaceable, but the girls are.
Right.
And this is, you know, Martha is able to, we kind of see this film told through flashbacks that are kind of correlating to where she's at right in the present, you know, trying to get back into touch and reassimilate with her sister, who's played by Sarah Paulson, and her husband, who's played by Hugh Dancy. Here, you know, kind of affluent. You know, they have a little country house that they're staying at. But it really is about her dealing with these memories and, you know, trying these afflictions and this trauma that we learned throughout the film that she goes through, or that she went through, you know, at this cult, where initially she was like, you know, this is a great thing, it's so pure, it's so right, and then she voluntarily leaves / escapes the cult. You know, and it's like that whole balance, you know, trying to move on, and maybe she can, maybe she can't, kind of thing.
So the one thing that's really very apparent from the beginning of the movie is this is a very intense sort of situation. Seeing her function in this environment is very jarring. It's
uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable. The thing about it is that us as normal, whatever normal is in our world, we live in this environment where these aren't the issues, where incestual sort of behavior and culty sort of things are they're very much not the norm. So seeing these things happen before your very eyes and not being able to do very much about it at all. And I think that people have this sort of illusion in their head that like nobody they know or they could never fall into a situation like this.
Yeah.
And I think that the cool part about it is it's presented in a way that makes it very believable. Like, she's in it. She just wants a change of scenery. Mm-hmm. She meets nice people that seem to be getting along. And John Hawkes, who's the leader, Patrick, kind of reels women in with this belief that they're contributing to a greater good, which is this family environment. They're going to be leaders and stuff like that. And from there, the manipulation begins. And that, to me, is why this movie becomes more and more intense. It starts off very, very subtle, very gentle, and then it just gets harsher and harsher and harsher for you to watch. It almost has the intensity of a horror film, but it's not a horror film at all.
Yeah, it definitely has an interesting way that it rolls out everything. Like, you're right, like earlier on in the film, everything is a little more subtle. It's like, you see some of how, I think we're basically seeing this cult and this past that Martha is going through from the eyes that she had when she first joined it.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're seeing it being a little gentler. The first scene we see is like them working together and eating meals and building this stuff around the house, and like there's this group dynamic, and it's kind of mild, and that's kind of how she probably, felt when she first joined it. And you see her joining it, and her being worked into the group and knowing her role and learning her role and then mastering her role and becoming a teacher. Like you said, Patrick is really good at manipulating these women into thinking, you're educators, you're leaders, you're not just nothing, like you felt like you were in your previous life, quote unquote. And then as we go into the film, we're exposed to a lot of other things, like, sex and drugs and rape and robberies and and even murder at some point. So as it gets more chaotic and more hectic, I think that's where we see, I feel like the way the movie is laid out, we're basically feeling that as she felt it in that order, until the point came that she decided that she wanted to break away from it. But then we also, we're with her in the present day with her sister, and we're seeing that, she may be removed from the situation or from the environment, but it's still not, she's not escaped from it at all.
Yeah, there's a cool little dual story that's going on. You're seeing basically the environment when she first started in the cult family kind of start, how it gets it's nice, and then it kind of escalates to get kind of weird. And that's essentially what happens when she goes to her sister's. Essentially, when she first meets up with her sister again, it's just, hey, nice to see you. It's great to see you. And it starts off very softly. They're loving each other. Hey, how you doing? Hugging each other. But as they start to hang around each other even more, things start to unravel. Things about their past start to unravel. Their relationships get strained because Martha isn't the same person that she was 2 years ago.
Right.
She's almost become like unpolished, almost like it doesn't seem like she ever had the life prior to the one that she had. And the interesting part is, as you see her unravel, you start to see why she became the way she is, why she never contacted her sister. And a recurring theme is cleansing in this movie.
Yeah.
Cleansing. And I think that cleansing is an interesting thing because I think the taboo in the cult family also creates a taboo in the current situation when she meets up with her sister. Some of the lifestyle changes that she made in that 2 years is actually pretty liberating. Like, kind of not worrying about possessions and not worried about money and things like that.
Yeah.
So when she comes and her values clash with her sister's, it becomes even more intense because she's lived this way for 2 years and then imposing this on her sister, who has never been removed from these things, never been removed from possession of money. And it's obvious that she's living beyond what she really needs. Yeah. There's a serious conflict just on that level. And then her not seeing her for 2 years. And then the family issues. It's just a very layered, intense thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it does that really well. It does create tons of layers, tons of, not suspense, but like tension between these, tangible things of the sister. That's Sarah, what's her name? Sarah Paulson. Lucy is played by Sarah Paulson. you know, and her husband kind of value like this house and this apartment that they're going to be having in the city and yada yada yada, and like you said, all this like, you know, emotional, mental stuff that they've basically. There was a break, you know what I mean? Like where she hasn't seen Martha in 2 years, they've gone one direction, and Martha has gone extremely the other.
Right.
So, you know, it makes these points where there's so much tension and there's so much disconnect. But then you also see like the familiar stuff, like, you know, as a family, as a sister, trying really hard to force that back together.
Yeah.
And then you see points where they're, you know, it's just not gonna work. It's not just gonna be me that does this. You know, there's gonna be professional help necessary or whatever. But, you know, it's just you see a lot of effort on the sister's part just because she wants her sister in her life so much. But I mean, Martha's just so, you know, she's so far removed from the sister that she knew. It's like, I don't know, you're left with the question of like, you know, I don't know that she's really going to ever get her sister back, you know, because this where she was, this experience she had really like fucks her up so bad. Like, you know, the it's one of those endings of a film where you're like, a lot of, like you were talking, a lot of people do or do not like this ending because it's one of those endings that isn't a bow nicely wrapped or tied off.
It's not.
It's very open-ended. It's very questionable. It's conversational. You know, and we were talking about it for a while after the movie last night, and people probably are still talking about it that saw the film with us. And that I feel like really talks to the uncertainty that those two characters are going through, you know, like whether they're going to be able to truly be sisters again or, you know, any of that kind of stuff. But I don't know, like overall, like I wasn't a huge fan of the film. I mean, I had a lot of expectations going into it just from a lot of the reviews that I've read thus far, and even some recommendations from friends of mine that have seen it. I don't know, it's like weird, like by nature, I guess like how you're saying like you're an indie boy, you know, you like the indie art. Yeah. You know, I do really identify with a lot of those films, and I love the independent model and how that exists for filmmakers or, you know, just artists of any kind. But it's like, I don't know, there's these kinds of movies that come out, and this film reminds me of it in a way, is that, you know, they're so aware of the kind of film it is and the audience that it's going to play to, that it has like elements in it that are there solely because it is that kind of film. Yeah, if that makes any sense. Like,
it's like raw sex scenes, like just raw and like really uncensored, raw sort of situations and dialogue that just you don't normally see in a mainstream movie. Yeah, I totally understand, man. Like,
and like that's an example of maybe one of those things. I mean, but I think in some ways that works a lot of times because like. That's real, quote unquote real. You know, that's what it looks like, or that's what it feels like, or sounds like. It's not like that sweet edited version of sex that a lot of Hollywood films have. But it's also just like some of these like really out there shots of like, I don't know. It's really hard to explain. It's like almost like they're trying to make you think so hard about what just happened, even though the only thing that they're really saying in the scene is something that's very direct. You know, they almost like try so hard to make it seem like more than it is, just so that you overthink it. Yeah. And I don't know. I really think that doesn't work sometimes. They can actually hurt, like the flow of a film or of a scene or of a, you know, an exchange of dialogue or whatever it might be. And I don't know. Like there wasn't a whole lot of that in this film, but there was a few moments like as I was watching it where I was like, I had that thing internally where I was like, wow, this is like. They're really trying to be like an indie film. Like it's really like one of those hipster films.
It has elements like that. I mean, I had a couple gripes. The movie started off pretty slow, and it took a while to get to the point where like whatever it was that was happening. You're not quite sure at what point this is going to start. Whatever's going to pick up is going to pick up. Mm-hmm. That took a while to develop. The entire story took a while to develop. Yeah. Also. The character Ted, played by Hugh Dancy, the British actor, I felt like between him and his wife, Martha's sister, it took a while. I felt like I didn't care for them enough because they didn't care enough for Martha's situation. It didn't seem like it was just very like they handled it just enough for them to be decent people. You know what I mean?
Just like not to be assholes.
They're just very, very unequipped for anything emotional with this girl. Yeah. I mean, and they harped on the fact that she was gone for 2 years for so long that they didn't really face any of the issues that were going on, the things that were happening, and that became kind of weird for me. Yeah. Just constantly harping. You haven't been here for 2 years, so how would you know this? You haven't been here for 2 years. Like, damn, man, like. Why are they harping on this so much? That became a little weird. I did not like Hugh Dancy just because he was an asshole. I mean, I guess he was supposed to be an asshole.
Yeah. He's just like that character that's like trying to do what's right and, trying to support his wife, but then realizes that like this isn't really what he wants to do at all.
Yeah.
He tolerates it for a little bit, and then he makes it known that he's like tired of this shit.
Yeah, it was on his watch, and he's like, screw this shit. I really don't want to deal with it.
Right.
Get her taken care of. It was very weird. So
it is an interesting thing, like to kind of move towards the filmmaking group that is responsible for the movie. Sean Durkin, the director of this film, is actually a part of a group called, or a production company called Borderline Films, which is Sean, a gentleman, Antonio Campos, and Josh Mond. Basically, the three guys have this production company, and they rotate in and out with every project. One of them will direct, two of them will produce. Yeah. And Sean is getting the attention for this film, and I mean, this was a big film at the Sundance Film Festival. They got a lot of attention and whatnot, but even some films that they had, like short films that one of the other guys did called Buy It Now, which was a big film at Cannes in 2005. It's kind of a cool thing that they're doing. Like, they're kind of going against the grain, like doing all this outside of the Hollywood system. And now that this film is kind of giving them attention, they've actually signed a first look deal with Fox Searchlight, so they'll actually have an opportunity to maybe do some more mainstream films. I mean, this movie was shot for like $600,000.
Really?
At one of the guys' family farms up in the Catskills, like the farm that the cult lives on is like at the guy's family house, like his family farm. Yeah, I mean, the movie was made for nothing. I mean, in terms of everything else, so I'm all about that kind of thing happening, though, like a filmmaker group or these guys that are really all about it, being able to do this kind of thing where it's kind of like the Coen brothers, like one will produce, one will direct. Yeah. A little different in this situation, but I mean, like Sean gets the attention for this film because of how much critical praise it's gotten, and I'm sure it'll do well at the box office for its budget that it's made, that it was made for, especially if it gets any kind of awards consideration later this year, but seeing something like this kind of challenge the Hollywood system is awesome. I think it's cool that now these three guys will have an opportunity to make more mainstream films and or more films that, get some of their stories out there, maybe some original stories. I mean, for the flaws that I found with this movie, and I didn't like it as much as you did, it is a really original idea. It's a very interesting take on and something that's very well possible and probably is something that's happened before, Yeah. The editing was really well done on the film. Like you said, there's kind of two storylines going at the same time, and the cuts between Martha with her sister versus Martha at the call, like there's really cool scenes where she's getting out of the lake and getting into the lake at the farm, where you're like, oh shit, this is a flashback.
Yeah, it looks like one.
It happened so fast and so fluidly that you're like, wow, this is like. Now I'm back where she was on the farm. Yeah. It's really cool. And I think that the idea of, three guys that, went to film school together that make this company can basically say, hey, you know what, like, take us or leave us. We are a production company. Like, you're not going to just take Sean, who made this film that's now become successful, and he's going to go off and do his own thing. Like, there's a loyalty to this Borderline film group, and I admire that.
Yeah,
these guys can basically say, I'm going to put my foot down right now, and you're going to basically sign this production company. You're not going to take one of us away and send us off to make the sequel to Saw or whatever. Sell out to the system. It's like, no, you're going to get all three of us, and we're going to keep doing the way we've done it, which is one of us will direct and two of us will produce, and you'll probably really be happy with the product. Yeah, it's really cool.
And I think that one really cool thing is taking a chance on Elizabeth Olsen was a really cool thing.
Yeah, man.
Because she is incredible in this movie. She's beautiful. She conveys the pain and suffering that she went through during the whole cult situation, and then it becoming even worse, being in a kind of fish out of water situation where she's been kind of convinced that this is the lifestyle she has to live, and then taken out of the situation, and she felt like she was kind of out of place both places, but worse when she was in her environment with her sister.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see how much she unravels, and the moments of happiness that kind of get turned into terror a lot of the times with both groups. I mean, like, I kind of feel like even when she left the cult, there were moments where she was just as terrified there because of the backlash, the paranoia that started to develop, the mental damage that she took. It was pretty cool. I mean, she is incredible in this movie. Make no mistake. And the interaction she has with her sister and Ted very, very, very intense stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, she literally, like I said earlier, like, a lot of people can't even pronounce this name of the film, but, like, everybody's calling it, like, the Lizzie Olsen film. I mean, she is kind of like, you know, I feel like this is kind of a cool opportunity for, you know, one of the other Olsen kids to have a chance at, you know, possible stardom. I mean, she's really good in the film. A very subtle but powerful performance. She does a lot of acting, like, with her facial expressions, her eyes, her body, you know, just because of what she's gone through with this cult. And, you know, I think with all things considered, you know, a movie like this affords a lot of opportunity to the entire entertainment community, whether it's these filmmakers that I talked about, or it's, you know, like a casting director that found Lizzie Olsen, or Lizzie Olsen herself. I mean, a movie that's made for $600,000 goes to Sundance. Sean Durkin wins Best Director. You know, Searchlight buys the film for $1.6 million. You know, so right there, you're already like, success, right? And now it's getting a release, and it's so much critical. You know, it's just for whatever problems I have with the movie, and I didn't love it as much as I wanted to, or really even like it as much as I thought I might. I totally admire what it does for independent film, for, you know, actors, actresses that are going to that next level, and also filmmakers that are stepping to that next level too. It's a pretty amazing a feat of multiple proportions. And
John Hawkes in the movie, oh man, like, he reminds me of an evil dictator. You know, he is, man.
He's so powerful.
He's so powerful. Yeah. It's he's so charismatic and really powerful. I think that another thing that he does is really interesting. He keeps young people around him. Yeah. So it doesn't matter what the situation may be. He's wiser than these kids. He comes across as a wiser person. He knows that he has a hold on these people. He knows that he can control them through his ideology. And I think that seeing him kind of wield it around during the course of the movie is incredible. And I hate that John Hawkes is not as famous as he should be. He's an incredible actor. And I like that he takes indie roles. He deserves some mainstream shit. Like, he deserves a big movie, to be a big villain or a sidekick or something. He deserves to be a main character too. Like, he can be all of that stuff. I think he's a really versatile actor.
Yeah, he's a really good actor. I mean, he was in Winter's Bone a year or two ago, and got a lot of recognition for that. I think he even got like a Best Actor, Supporting Actor nomination. Was like out of left field, but well deserved. Gotcha. And you're right, he does play the part really well, and the intentional, you know, habits that you find that this character has, like keeping the young people around, and he's so wise, but that's all a matter of perspective. You know, like you said, you know, when you have these very idyllic, you know, blank slates of youth around you, you know, you fill that canvas with all of these thoughts, even however crazy they are. Like he basically spouts off, you know, but they take it in like it's, you know, the best thing since sliced bread, because they don't know anything else.
That's incredible. It's like that whole idea. If you tell a little kid, if you give a little kid a hammer, you tell them to kill this person, and you tell them that you get a cookie for it. If they don't know any better, they'll hammer that person to death. Yeah. And that's kind of what happens during the course of the movie. It gets insane. Yeah. Just under the pretense that they're kind of contributing to a greater good. Yeah. So I don't know. I in general, I thought the movie was pretty damn good. I mean, it had its shortcomings, but.
Yeah, I mean, Ronald loved it, or liked it a lot.
I liked it a lot.
I liked it. I wanted more from it, didn't love it. But I mean, you know, like I said, it's a rollout, so, you know, limited release. I checked the Fox Searchlight website. Mm-hmm. If you're in Baltimore, listen to this. It comes out this Friday. A couple theaters in the area. I know the Charles Theater's playing it. Mm-hmm. But, you know, hit up the website and see what theater's playing near you. It's at least worth checking out. Gotcha. Especially to support independent film, I'd say go for it.
Absolutely.
And then we're going to move on now to our DVD quick picks of the week. Did you want to kick it off, or you want me to take the...
You go first.
Okay, so I'm going to pick up where we were talking about John Hawkes just now. I'm going to talk about a film that came out in 2003 called Identity, which is a James Mangold film starring John Cusack, Ray Liotta, Amanda Peet, John Hawkes. Big ensemble cast. It's kind of like a whodunit serial killer kind of thriller. A really cool twist at the ending. Basically, it takes place in a hotel or a motel in Nevada, where all these strangers become, you know, familiar with one another for reasons that they don't know in the middle of this crazy storm. And as a side plot. Like there's a last hour effort for this lawyer trying to get this person off of a killing charge, I believe it is. And you're basically just trying to figure out what the correlation is, and then one by one these characters at the hotel start to die off, and it's just like a fun throwback whodunit. John Hawkes is in the film, which is why I'm correlating it to this episode's featured review. But I'm a big fan of John Cusack, and anything he's in I at least check out. So he's in the film. Alfred Molina, Clea Duvall, John C. McGinley, William Lee Scott, Jake Busey, just like tons of people in this film. It's definitely an ensemble. If you like mystery thrillers, I would totally recommend Identity. It's on DVD. It's probably on Netflix. Don't quote me. But it's definitely worth checking out. And especially just after Halloween, why not follow it up with a nice little mystery thriller?
Gotcha. So I switched it up a bit. I'm actually going to do funny games.
Okay.
Both versions. There's a 2007 version and a 1997 version.
Okay.
The 2007 version was a remake, obviously. It starred Michael Pitt. It was, who else was in it?
Was Naomi Watts?
Naomi Watts is in it.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite actors, Tim Roth, was in it as well. It's basically a situation where a family is going on a vacation. It's a mother, a father, and a son heading towards a vacation area. They basically get a visit from two kids that basically take over this house and put them through these crazy, psychotic games. The reason why I chose this movie, is because it kind of reminded me of the feel of the movie that we reviewed, Marcy May Marlene, because it basically starts off. The tone of it is very, very funny at first, and these kids are very charismatic. And then as you get to know these kids, it becomes a very intense, almost like a horror film intensity to the relationship that they have between the family and the two kids. So it reminded me a lot of that when I was watching this movie. There were moments where I felt like, not that something was going to jump out, but I was just as worried for these people as I was worried for a person in a horror film that was behind a tree, and you could see the psychotic killer walking towards them. These were two kids. Like, they were manipulating a family of two adults who had been on this earth for double what these kids had been on the earth. And I think that that's pretty interesting that the same sort of thing happened in the movie we reviewed.
And then isn't Brady Corbett? He's in that film.
Yeah.
He plays one of the kids that's terrorizing him, right?
Yeah, plays one of the kids.
He plays in Marcy May. He plays Watts, who's one of the males at the cult area.
So you get to see this guy. I like Brady Corbett a lot too, particularly in funny games, because you get to see how crazy he can be.
Yeah,
and he was a little crazy in this movie too.
He's kind of just, you can tell he's got a couple screws loose.
Yeah, he has those dead eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I definitely suggest the 2007 release of Funny Games. So that's my pick.
Cool. And this is a little bonus I'll throw out there, a bonus DVD quick pick, which was How the West Was Fun.
Oh, yeah.
The Mary-Kate and Ashley Wild Wild West TV film from 1994. Mm-hmm. That was Lizzie Olsen's film debut. So if you can track that one down, kudos to you. That was when they went out to Grandma Natty's Dude Ranch and saved the day. So if you want to see Lizzie Olsen as a little girl, for all you perverts out there, I would go ahead and pull that TV movie up. But yeah, so I think that's going to wrap up this week's podcast. Basically, again, we definitely, if you like art house films, indie films, check out Marcy May Marlene. It's at least something that everybody's gonna be talking about. So at least get yourself in the know.
You say that significantly faster than I can say it,
because I have a little more skill at speaking than you do.
Marcy May Marlene.
You'll get it. Repetition, buddy. Repetition. But yeah, so as always, thanks for listening. Hit us up on the movieschmovie.net website. We'll be posting news articles, trailers, posters. We try to throw up as much as we can there, just to follow that for news information on movies. And as always, we have the Facebook page. Our email address is movieschmovie@gmail.com.
Yep.
So if you have any suggestions for future reviews, suggestions, complaints, whatever you want to do, I just wanted to say hi. You can do that too.
Send us a message.
But I think it's going to wrap up this week's episode. And as always, you've made our day, and thanks so much for listening.
Thank you.